Plaintiff Gail Everson says the defendant is her younger sister, and she lived off of their parents until they passed away. Gail claims the defendant filed a false police report against her, and she's suing her sister today for unpaid property taxes. Defendant Janice Peterson loves Gail, but she does not like her ways. Janice says Gail got caught shoplifting, and she claimed to be Janice, and Janice didn't find out until the police came to arrest her. She's countersuing for household repairs and moving expenses.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I am the middle child out of 5 girls. Janice Peterson is actually one of my younger sisters, but you would think she was my older sister because my voice means nothing to her. It's her way or no way.
How long has that been?
Oh, God, for years. Years. All my adult life, pretty much.
She the youngest child?
No, it's one more under her.
All right.
It's 5 of us, so.
Tell her she in the wrong spot to be doing all that. That's for the baby.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. So, just to give you a little bit, back in 2017, Ms. Peterson went to the police department and told them that I used her credit card and stole $175 off of it. That was the only way the bank would refund the money is with a police report, but she literally put my name on the police report.
Did you get any time for it?
No, actually the prosecution, the detective went to the prosecution and they actually refused to take the case.
Otherwise you'd have got some time.
Oh, no doubt, I would have done some time, exactly.
Because you did it?
No, I didn't do it.
Well, why are you going to get time if you didn't do it?
If I hadn't done it, I would have got time.
No, I didn't ask you that. I said if the prosecutor decided to prosecute you, would you have gotten time? And you said yes.
I probably would have because of my record.
Because you did it.
No, I did not do it.
Yes, she did.
Thank you. Move on. You better be glad you're not suing for that, because I can tell you guilty.
Okay, so I do have the report from the police department where the prosecution.
I'm just messing with you, ma'am. Totally.
Janice, this is her MO. She lived off our parents straight up into their death.
Starting at what age? As a young adult? Really?
Yeah, as a young adult, yes.
Off of them meaning with them?
She thinks she's God's gift to men. That's what she believes.
Well, why she ain't live off of them then? Y'all wasn't telling her that when she was leaning on your parents?
You can't tell somebody something that knows everything, you know.
You can tell mama, shut your purse. She got all these men chasing her. If she don't know what to do, then don't y'all give it to her. Let her starve and eat slop and drink muddy water.
Yeah, you're right.
But you say she was always trouble, obviously, because she had a bunch of men chasing her and she still leaned on your parents?
Yes, she lived.
Lived with them?
Lived.
How many years?
2-family house. She lived on the 2nd floor, straight up until Mom died.
How did that go? What did your parents tell you about her living there?
Well, she was supposed to pay $200 a month rent. She paid Mama that when she got ready. Okay. My mama was very thorough about receipts. So she paid my mom $200 when she got ready to pay her. And she always kept a roommate as well. So all her life, she's always had a roommate. When she did venture out onto her own, she was probably on her own for 2 years, and back in Mama's house she went, you know. So. And
they said she was all right, no fussing and no.
Oh, there was always Mama just always disagreed with a lot of things that she did, you know. Certain men in the house that were forbidden fruit to us when we were growing up, you know. Because like I said, it was 5 girls, and we couldn't talk to the guys up the street because they were forbidden fruit. We couldn't even speak to them. So
they were criminals?
Criminals and
not going in the right direction, or what do you mean?
I really couldn't say that because as a child, we just knew that we could not speak to them.
You don't know why?
It wasn't until I got older that I realized what they were talking about. One of them stayed in and out of jail.
Criminal?
Yes.
Like I said?
Yes, and bottom line is we were 5 girls and they were boys. So,
okay. Yeah. So they were trying to protect you also from having a teenage, being a teenage mother, no doubt.
We didn't know it then, but yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Yes, yes.
Let me get some background from you.
Your Honor, I love my sister Gail. I just don't like Gail's ways. For example, back in the 90s, my sister got caught shoplifting at a store, and she told them that she was me. I'm not the first sibling that she's done that to. She told them she was me, and she went through the whole process as me.
What year?
Oh, I don't know the exact year. About in the early 90s.
Okay.
And I didn't find out about it until the police came to my door to arrest me. And my other sister answered the door. I didn't answer the door. They came to arrest me, and because of that, I had to get a piece of paper from the BCI to prove that I did not have a criminal history, which I still carry with me to this day. And I have it in evidence if you want to see it. It's page 16. So ever since then, I've had to carry this piece of paper to show that I don't have a criminal history.
This is the early 90s?
Yes. And even like she brought up, she just mentioned it was 2 years ago. She did use my, I know for a fact she did it.
How do you know for a fact?
I saw the charge on my card. I called the company. It was actually a cell phone bill. I saw the charge. I called the company. I asked them who it was. They said they couldn't. I asked them if I gave them a phone number, could they tell where it went to? They said yes. I gave her cell phone number. They said that's what it is. I called the detective. I know his name, number. I called him. The detective did investigate it, but because of the dollar amount, my bank refunded me. So the detective told me that because I was refunded, they would not proceed with this.
How did you determine it was her in the 90s? I do see that they've determined it wasn't you.
Oh, because when they came to my door, I had to go to Sharonville Police Department, and the detective officer told me, oh, you're not the person I arrested. They had a picture of her.
Showing her.
And the picture was not me.
Gotcha.
Yes. And the only reason is because she was incarcerated for something else at the time.
Already.
So she didn't serve the community service. That's why they came to arrest me.
I can understand all of that because everybody was on crack in the late 80s and 90s. But what about 2 years ago?
I don't know why 2 years. And I don't know how she got my card.
She not still,
I don't know how
on
she got
crack?
my
Everybody,
card
you
to
should
this
be
day.
off by now, ma'am.
Your Honor,
What?
I've never been on drugs.
Oh, well, why are you doing all that stealing?
I did.
That's even worse.
I
You're
was a
doing all
terrible-
this stealing. I can understand if you're smoking crack,
Your Honor,
that'll make you go to stealing your sister's stuff and fraud and all this. And in jail, you already in jail?
Your Honor, I told the police what I had did. That's why they didn't charge me back then. I came clean with them. I told them that I used her name, okay?
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Why were you a criminal if you weren't getting high?
I was just running with the wrong crowd. I was a terrible child. I was. I did a lot of things that I should not have done.
You were a child in the 90s?
Yeah, I was still a child at mine, yeah.
How old were you in the 90s?
Probably my early...
In 95,
20s.
how old were you?
I don't know. In 90... I was born in 65.
Was she a child? Well, you wasn't no
I
child.
was still a child in mind and heart. I hadn't grown up yet.
How about 2 years ago?
Like I said, I have the police report here where the reason they did not prosecute me is because the prosecution...
They ain't have enough evidence?
No,
Oh,
no.
yes, it is.
They went to the phone carrier and found out that I had never paid a deductible on my account. That's why they didn't prosecute me.
I'm just messing with you. You
Yeah.
admitted to what you did.
Exactly.
That's a stand-up person. I respect that.
Well.
And I no longer think you're on crack because the crackheads, they are the best liars in the entire world. I hate when they come before me because that's all they do is lie and steal every day to fulfill their habit. And I rarely lie. Not that I don't, I rarely do. But, you know, I could never catch them. What else you want to say before we get into the details of the property tax?
Oh, what I was saying is, if you want to know she has a very lengthy criminal history, which is on page 12 and 13. And because of that, the family's always had to step in and raise her children.
Oh my.
Because of
Ma'am,
her being
please tell me you own something if this is true.
This is true.
They took your children from you.
Yes, we raised.
What's you all's understanding of her deal? Why was she doing all this?
The only thing I can say is when we got custody of her first two children,
Not you.
well, at the time I was a child, so when my mother got custody of her two children, her two oldest children, Department of Human Services, they were trying to reunify the family when she got out. So they gave us a book, which was for us to help explain to her children that their mother does have a drug problem. Now, I can't say it, but all I know is Department of Human Services.
Man. See, you have 20 cases here, ma'am. Let's move on. See, I told you I couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
Can't catch it. It's hard. It's hard to catch a crackhead. What you suing it for, ma'am? Tell me about this property tax.
Your Honor, our parent, my mother died back in 2011. In 2017 into 2016, 2017, me and Janice, it's a two-family house. We inherited the home, and we decided to split the property taxes since we were the two living there. I was on the first floor, and she's on the second floor.
And there were no debts other than that, the property tax. In other words, there weren't debts already on it.
Well,
When you got it, was there a mortgage?
there was, it was a mortgage, but since then, the mortgage has been forgiven.
Okay, but so
was
you
just
all
back
never
taxes.
paid on the mortgage?
No, we never paid on the
Okay, I'm just trying to see who paid what during the
No.
time that you all had the house.
Right.
Because if one person paid all the mortgage and the other person was, I don't know what you're about to say, but then the other
Right.
person paid all the property tax. So what did you all agree on?
We agreed to split the property taxes,
Yeah,
but
you
then
did
there was
say that,
$6,000.
50-50.
There was $6,000 in arrears then because it went through probate court and what have not. She stayed in the house, once Mom died. She actually changed the locks on the house and wouldn't let nobody in the house. It wasn't until we got in front of a magistrate where they made her let us into the home. Okay, and I need to go back
Sure.
something she said as far as my kids. Like I said, I was a terrible child. I did a lot of things that I should not have done. Okay. But if the truth must be told, my mother raised her daughter as well. That's just how my mom was. She kept the kids together. And I had never done drugs. She continued. It wasn't until later in life that my mom realized that I wasn't on drugs, and come to find out she's the one that put the drugs into the system mouth that said I was
Why
on
did they
drugs.
remove your children?
Because I had got sentenced to time. Okay.
Why?
So
What was that for?
receiving stolen property.
Why were you doing that, engaged in that?
I cannot sit here and lie to you. I was terrible. Back then I was terrible. I didn't believe
All right, but
nothing nobody
people
told
calm
me.
down when they get children for the most part, unless they're drug addicts.
No.
Let's move
I
on,
did
ma'am.
calm
Let's
down once
move on, ma'am,
it was
because I
too
don't
late.
believe you. I believe you are a drug addict, just
my
like
God.
she said. Can we please move on?
Sure,
Nobody
sure,
gets arrested 20 times. You tried to act as if that wasn't the case in your life. I looked at it and I see your children were taken from you. Please, let's move on. Now, tell me about the taxes. Did she pay her share? If not, for what time,
Back in
what year?
2017, her share of the property taxes would have been $1,112.48 a year. She didn't pay in 2017, 18, or 19. So the total she owes will be $3,336.
When is the last time you discussed it with her?
Oh, she blocks me out every time it's time to pay property taxes. If she don't have her portion, she blocks me out.
Did she talk to you about it last year?
Yeah, she said she was going to pay it.
That's what I'm saying. Did she
Yeah, she
give
said
you a
she's gonna pay
time
it.
frame?
Well, what happened was I had open heart surgery in 2018, and what happened was I was in the hospital, and after I got out the hospital, in the midst of an argument, she got mad at me and she threw something up, and this is how I found out all of these things. So she agreed to pay her share. She had been paying straight up until 2017. Okay.
I was trying to see what type of commitment she made most recently, and so we can discuss that because that's the one we rely on. What was the last time you all discussed how and when she was going to pay?
She said she was going to pay Memorial Day weekend.
That's May of 20. COVID was everywhere. But nonetheless, what happened when May 2020 came?
She never paid, and like I said, to this day, she still has me on block.
Okay.
And I'm not going to do hearsay, she say, but
You might as well. She said some hearsay about you, the worst type of hearsay.
Well, she had actually,
If this is some good gossip in particular, if it ain't good gossip, I don't want to hear.
She told my daughter that I would lose the house. She told my daughter she couldn't move in. It's a two-family house, like I said. So we have our separate entries, kitchen and all that. So my daughter was willing to move up there and help, catch the taxes up.
After she moved, or after at some point? I don't know.
She moved out September
19, right?
Yes, sir. She moved out September of 19.
And your daughter said she'd help.
Yeah, so it wasn't until, like I said, Memorial Day weekend that I actually had to go up there, walk up the steps. It's hard for me to walk up the steps because, like I said, I had a 5-way bypass. I had open heart surgery. So I had to pay somebody to go up there, and what I did was I paid them to move her stuff from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor, which is right over her. It's a 3-family house.
Did you give her notice?
It was 8 months. She hadn't came.
Hadn't been there?
She had came with a moving truck twice.
Oh.
She had came with a moving truck twice.
What month?
The Memorial Day, actually, she came with a moving truck and moved her remainder of the stuff.
No, the first time, when she first moved.
She first moved.
Yes, ma'am.
Like 3-4 months later after she first moved, she came back with a truck.
How could you
I live on the
first move when you came back with the truck?
What she did was she sold some of the
First
stuff
time. When did she move and how did she move? Give me the circumstances.
She moved in with her fiance. Okay, she moved in with him. And what she did periodically.
Did she tell you?
Yeah, I seen her out the window.
You said no.
No, she didn't tell me.
What did you see out of the window?
She started selling this stuff out the house because her husband has a
She started selling it on the lawn? That's the only thing you see out the window. Let me hear from you, ma'am. She can't tell me whatever it is she's trying to tell me about you. Go ahead.
She is correct. When my mother passed in 2011, we inherited the family home. And there were back taxes on the family home, but because she and I were the one that moved into the home, and after probate in about 2013, 2014, we agreed that we would split all the household, everything for the house down the middle, which we did. As you can see,
Taxes primarily?
Taxes, repairs, everything.
Okay.
Everything that had to do with the house, the two of us, because we lived there, split it down the middle.
Okay.
I have the receipts showing that we did just that up until 2017. 2017, Gail did not have her part of the money. Gail went down to the county and made arrangements with them. It's what she did quite often, go down, I don't know what she says.
Arrangement, obviously, on behalf of both of you because they don't split them up.
Right. And I'll admit, Gail.
Had you given your money for 17?
I did write Gail a check at first for my portion of it. It was never cashed. You know, periodically I would say, Gail, you know, they haven't cashed your check yet. She would say, oh, I made arrangements with them. I made arrangements, and I never knew what the arrangements were. Okay, 2018, the house needed a roof on it. Like I said, I stay on the 2nd floor. Rain, it was leakage, gutters, wall bubbling, everything. The house needed a roof. Gail didn't have her taxes. Like she said, in 2018, she got sick.
You didn't have yours either?
Yes. Well, I had mine.
You didn't pay it?
I gave Gail a check. That's what I did. But it was never cashed. As you can
Correct.
see,
when you give somebody a check and it's never cashed, it didn't happen.
Oh, right. It wasn't
them.
paid. It wasn't paid, but I had my money to pay it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so.
But don't act like you paid, though.
Oh, no.
You had the money, but you didn't pay. You keep trying to give me the impression that's irrelevant. Having it and not paying it is totally irrelevant to why you're being sued.
Okay, so when Gail became sick, she still didn't have her portion of the money.
18.
We needed a roof. Correct. We needed a roof on the house. We both agreed I would go ahead and pay for the roof, which was $5,000, and then there was an.
And at this point, nobody had paid any taxes to your knowledge.
Correct.
Including you. 2018, you have knowledge that taxes haven't been paid. You all agreed to splitting the roof in half, and the roof cost $5,000.
Right.
And so from there, what?
And then there we have the old box gutters. It's an older house, so when they did the roof, they told us we had to have the gutters, like something done to the gutters, which is another $700.
Okay.
So that's why I'm suing her for that half, which that totals $2,850.
Okay.
And yes, I did have to move out of the house because she's correct. In about September, late 2019, I did start staying with my fiance now at the time, staying there.
She knew you were moving out?
I never gave Gail. I didn't realize that I needed to give her notice to move out of my own house.
She moved some of your things?
Yes, sir, she did.
How did she move? She must have broke in.
She had to. To this day, I don't know how she got a key.
How did you get in her place and move her things if you all were in two different residences?
The door was her back door. Jenny was gone. Her back door.
Sir,
hold on.
Her back door was not locked.
Okay, you've been in jail enough to know whether it's locked enough.
Exactly.
Damn, that was a burglary.
No, there were roaches.
That was a burglary, man. There were roaches now.
Yeah.
Okay. All All right. I'm going to agree with her, and I'm not going to accept any of your testimony. I don't think you're an honest person at all. As even as recent as this, you committed an act of burglary. Your claim is dismissed. Yours is granted. Don't believe anything you say. Have a good day. Judgment for the defendant, her counterclaim.